And I'm actually down in Savannah, Georgia right now, doing some work for the company I work for.
Gotcha. Yeah, you gotta do what you gotta do.
Yeah, man, make that bank.
There's a list of priorities, and that's towards the top. So
Yeah,
that's everything sort of flows from that. But it's I'm glad we got to connect. I first let me say that
I
I'm
see
wear,
it. Ah,
I'm wearing the shirt. I don't know if you've seen the movie PCU.
no.
There's a scene in the beginning where a college guy is about to go see a band, and his friend says, "You're wearing the shirt of the band you're going to go see. Don't be that guy." And but he doesn't say anything about you're wearing the shirt of the band you're going to be talking to later. So I figured, I'll totally
You get a pass.
rock out some Auralayer. By the way,
Hell yeah.
for those of you out there, uh, I know you guys are working on a new album or you have new music that's coming out.
Yes, we do. So right now we are tracking the last bit of the debut album. We have all of the instruments done. It's just vocals and mixing and mastering. And then we're currently working on a deal that I can't talk too much about, but hopefully we're looking at a release in later this year. Hopefully, we're crossing our fingers,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
we've got some new songs on there, stuff that we've written actually very recently. And we're really excited because this is material that not just we're excited about, but we're working with a gentleman named Philip Cope, who is in the band Kalesa.
Okay, yeah, yeah.
Um,
They've become one of my recent favorites.
yeah, so we're working with Philip Cope right now. He's the one who's producing our album and recording it. And Phil is a hell of a guy. He's a fantastic engineer. He's a fantastic producer. He's a fantastic musician. So it's been a pleasure working with him. He's a very cool guy. What's funny is, and Thomas might get mad at me for saying this, but he's been Thomas has been listening to Phil's music since he was in middle school, since he was 12 years old. And so when he found out that Phil was working at the studio that we decided on, he gave him a call and said, "Hey, we are interested in recording with you, and would you want to do it?" And he agreed. So it's very exciting because we get to work with someone that Thomas is a very huge fan of, and someone who he's told us that he really digs our music, and I'm very happy to hear that coming from someone of his status and someone of his talent.
Yeah, well, I'm really looking forward to hearing the album. So I mean, so far most of the songs that I've heard were songs that I discovered when you were playing live on YouTube. So,
Yeah.
um, and by the way, before I forget, you do everyone, first of all, when you get the chance, you should check out all these videos of Auralayer. They're kind of, it's like a psychedelic stoner James Gang. That's how I think of it when it comes to mind. But you guys did a cover of Hybrid Moments, which
Yeah.
which is one of my favorite Misfit. I mean, one of my favorite songs. But I'm always looking out for new versions of that, and I really enjoyed your take on it.
Well, I'm so glad to hear that. That was actually my idea. I'm a huge fan of the Misfits, and the original idea was actually to do a Misfits medley. But our drummer Vlad, he's not a big fan of punk music, which I was very surprised about. So he, much to his chagrin, he did the song. We've now been covering lately Strange Ways by Kiss,
Okay.
and Parasite as well. And what we do is we take the two songs and we kind of mesh them together, and we call it Strange Parasite. Both Ace Frehley songs, both in the same key. And so we just had this idea one day. We were practicing both of them. It's like, well, why don't we just kind of turn it in? So we took the medley idea from the Misfits thing and put it towards this Kiss song, or a couple of Kiss songs. And recently we've been covering Space Truckin' by Deep Purple.
Cool. Yeah. Well, I feel like that would, I mean, I kind of was joking before when I had said James Gang, because you guys, I mean, the sound isn't, I mean, the the fact that you're a power trio, there's some crossover there, but you guys are, much more of the sort of stoner psychedelic sound to it. And, but yeah, I'm really excited to check out the album. It'll be nice to hear some studio recordings to kind of go with the live stuff I've heard.
Absolutely. The stuff on YouTube, actually, I hate to say it's a little outdated because it was from our second show. Funny
Yeah,
enough, that was
yeah. I mean, it's one of I was thinking about it this morning. I don't know who you had played on a bill with somebody who I was, tagging to talk about upcoming releases or something. It could have been River of Deceit. It could have been
or Witch Pit,
or Brandy and the Butcher. They're because you guys are from Greenville, South Carolina.
Yes.
So it could have been any of the sort of that area.
And we're all friends with those guys, Witch Pit and River of Deceit, and all those fellows.
Right.
We've met so many cool people in the music scene, and it's kind of becoming like a Seattle sound almost, where Greenville is kind of putting out this stoner rock sound that seems to be kind of in a way unique to the region. I hate to say it because a lot of people have thrown out genres for us. We don't really know what to call our genre, and so I kind of came up with a name for it, that it's stoner pop almost.
Yeah, I always say, whenever, during most of my episodes, I always say that the only reason why half of these labels exist is to give people something to argue about.
Yes.
So I'm happy just to call it good music, and
yeah.
Sometimes it's helpful to be able to direct somebody. If they're trying to find a sound, an in particular sound, I can say, well, it's somewhat like a stoner vibe, but yeah, they're definitely pop sensibilities, which is great. It is a unique sound. I think, again, I discovered you guys probably because I was tagging Witch Pit or River of Deceit, and you were playing on the same bill, or there was some crossover. So
the first show that we played with Witch Pit was a River Deceit Witch Pit lineup, which we've done that more than a couple times.
So yeah, so then I think I just was tagging you guys because I was already, I figured why not just include everyone.
Yeah.
And then because of that, I think I discovered your band. That's the beauty of my system, going down the YouTube rabbit hole, and then you just discover all these incredible bands and these really great local scenes that are now becoming international because of technology. So it's great to hear that Greenville has a really cool scene going on. Hopefully we can get that to be more of an international type of thing, get you guys fans from all over the world. But
yeah, we're in a very unique position at this point because, if you wanted to become a big band, if you wanted to start having some success and traction, you needed to be in a specific location. And now it's the same way with like content creators. You don't have to be in LA. You don't have to be in New York to be successful anymore. You can be in Savannah, Georgia. You could be in Gainesville, Florida. You could be in, anywhere in the world and just make your art and put it out there on the internet. And hopefully it'll stick, hopefully it'll land, and people will relate to it and want to listen to it or want to be a part of it. It's an exciting time to be a musician right now.
Yeah, well, I was talking to a guy, Patrick, in Nashville, who's in a band called Nahoda, and he was telling me, thinking about Nashville, the first thing that came to mind was country and Western music. But he was saying that there's actually a really cool metal scene going on in Nashville that he's part of. And then I spoke to a guy, Jeff, in a band called Beastwood out in Wyoming. He was telling me out there they have a really popular scene. So it's great to hear that there are a lot of, more regional scenes coming up that are really putting out great quality music. And, now I guess due to the pandemic and stuff and technology being where it is, it's a little bit easier. Like you said, you can stay in your own place. You don't have to go somewhere else, and you can just develop your sound where you are. And
Yeah.
and hopefully, it'll, if it's good, which it is. So for those of you out there who are looking for a good contemporary band to listen to that makes great, unique stoner pop music, we'll use your moniker. Then definitely pick up Aurelayer's album when it drops, but find their videos on. I mean, it's early stuff, but still, you can say you got in on the ground floor.
Yeah, there are a few fan videos out there on Facebook and YouTube, where you can catch some of the covers, like the Strange Ways cover. I know that there's a video floating around on Facebook, and there's actually, I think the most searched video for us is actually of a song that we don't do very often, but we just redid it, and it's actually recorded on the album too. It's a song called Peacemonger, and you can find it on YouTube. Our buddy Tim took that video. He's awesome. He goes to like all the shows in the Greenville, Charlotte area. But it's cool because there's so many people who come up to us and after the show and are really excited. It's funny because in Greenville there was kind of just, the scene was where the scene was everywhere. It was very heavy kind of screamo music. The emo scene was still kind of floating around, and there's been kind of a change of the guard recently, especially with this pandemic. We saw, and this is nothing against any of these bands, they were great bands, but a lot of these bands had moved on or broke up or decided to do different things. There's one band, I think they were called Reason Define, that was in Greenville, and they were huge. They were amazing musicians and a great band, and everybody talked very highly of them. Well, unfortunately, they decided to split ways early into the pandemic, and I just found the guitar player of that. Shelby has joined a national act called Dollskin. There's a great band in Atlanta called Starbenders who was going to open for them on their tour before that all got canceled. But we're starting to see musicians from the Greenville area who were the previous generation are moving up in their realm, and there's kind of an influx of new musicians, and I call myself one of those new musicians who's popping up in that area. It's just interesting to see because there's just a very live music community here. It's insane. I've met so many people. I've played with so many bands, and I kind of, on Instagram is the best way to kind of find all these bands. A lot of bands aren't doing Facebook anymore, but you go around and you look at all these bands that are being recommended to you, and it's like, oh wait, I know that guy, he plays in this band and that band and this band, and it's all really connected in this really cool way. So Greenville's thriving. It's great.
Yeah, I mean, it's great. That's really wonderful. I always love to hear that there are regional scenes that are sort of exploding and becoming big and putting out really great bands. And now, because there's really no there are no barriers anymore because of technology, it's great to be able to discover these bands, to watch a live stream performance or find a video on YouTube and then know about a band. And when they come through your area, or if you can go see them, it's just, it's really, like you said, it's a boom time to be a musician.
I had a lot of conversations with musicians around the area, and, for a lot of people, the pandemic set them back. We started Auralayer in January of 2020. We started in January 2020. We played on the back of a trailer in a parking lot, and the pandemic hit, and a lot of people let it stop them in their tracks. And I'm not talking about bands. I'm talking about all artists in the region. I was big in the photography scene for a while there. But a lot of artists just stopped doing art, and I thought that was really sad. And I kept telling people, I'm like, keep going. Right now is the time to work on your craft and put your head down and just get better at what you do. And then when everything ramps back up, it is going to be an explosion. It is going to be huge. And I'm already starting to see it. Of course, there is the legendary venue, Ground Zero. Their shows have started to really pick back up. And like, I'm looking at the pictures of the crowds, and it's huge. When we played our show there, we had a headlining show in early 2021. And oh my God, there were so many people. I mean, there were people just dancing and thrashing all around at the front of the stage, and people were crowd surfing. And it's like, I hadn't seen any of this in 2020. And we're seeing that explosion of people just wanting to go out and do things. It's exciting.
Yeah. Well, I was talking to another musician, I forgot who, about reading Malcolm Gladwell's book, Outliers. He talks about the passage about the Beatles when they were in Hamburg.
I've read the book. Yeah.
Yeah. When the Beatles were in Hamburg, they were just playing nightclubs every night for like a year. And when the opportunity came, they were ready. So it's sort of like you were saying, it's like all of these people right now, there's a fork in the road, and you can sort of decide to focus on other things, or you can use the time to really perfect your craft. So
yeah,
it's good
absolutely.
that you guys, it's really good that to hear that you guys are, taking advantage of the situation, writing new music, recording music with Phil Cope, which I'm really excited about. I mean, that's sort of like icing on the cake. I was excited about the record to begin with, but to know that he's going to be producing it, I mean, that's just that's gravy. So it'll be awesome.
We're very excited about it. That's kind of been the single track mind that I have right now, is just get this record done, make sure that we do it right, and spend the right amount of time on it. Like, if you want something to turn out great, you've got to put in the time, you got to put in the money, and you got to put in the effort. And I'm thinking, we did an EP with Phil, and I'll send you those tracks that for the podcast, so that way you have something to play. Now, these songs have been re-recorded for the album, but we went and kind of rushed an EP, and we didn't. It's not that it was bad. It just wasn't what our vision was. And Phil was on that same page. He was like, it was good, but it could be better. And we all agreed. And so that's why we're going back and re-recording these songs. But it gives us the opportunity to kind of cut our teeth in the studio and figure out the kind of sound we're looking for. And already, we're not even in the mixing stage yet. Already, we are 100 times happier with how this is turning out. And the three of us, or four of us rather, since Phil's producing it, the vision that we've kind of come up with is starting to really come together. I'm very excited about that. And I've got two other things to mention. These are kind of different plugs. Is that okay?
Yeah. By all means.
Well, I'm working on some music as well. Jake writes a bunch of songs and kind of puts it out there, or not really. I'm not going to advertise it too much, but I'll advertise it right here. If you kind of like Beatles-esque music and maybe stuff with a different kind of flavor to it, I'm kind of self-producing some music and going to throw it out there. And just if anyone likes it, cool. I'm not going to really put any shows or anything towards it, but I figured I'd throw it out there that I'm writing some music. And number two, I don't know if you've heard of a band called Testarossa. Are you familiar with them?
Only from promoting. Like I'll see their name, and I think I've tagged them on stuff for shows that are upcoming.
Yeah, we've played a couple shows with them.
Then that's probably how I know them.
So Testarossa, they're a band up in Gastonia, Charlotte area, and it's kind of like if how I describe it to people, it's like if AC/DC had started in the 80s instead of the 70s.
Okay.
They have a very kind of retro rock kind of sound. But they are coming out with a music video and an album on June. I think it's either 4th or 5th. Don't quote me on that.
Okay.
But I will be making a guest appearance in their music video, Knocking Outside Your Door. So if you do want to catch more Auralayer Jake, if you so choose, I'm not very interesting, trust me. I will be in that video. So they're really good pals of mine, and I encourage you, if you do like retro rock, they're a fantastic band to get into, and a fantastic live show too.
Yeah. So okay, well, we can sum up everything. You're working on some new stuff that's coming out, so people can find, we'll be able to find that for Beatles sort of era stuff.
It's going to be just under my name. If you search Jake Williams, it'll be right there.
Okay, so yeah, look for new music from Jake Williams. Check out the video from Testarossa and get their new album when it drops in June. And then, of course, the new Auralayer album, which will be out hopefully at some point this year, which I'm really excited about. But also, in the meantime, there's plenty of content to go check out. And I'm sure, hopefully, you guys will, now that restrictions are starting to lessen a little bit, you'll be able to start playing live shows again at some point soon, or at least at some point in the next couple months.
Yeah, so the status of our live shows right now, we are on a brief break to get this
of course.
album finished, and also our drummer Vlad is having a child.
Congratulations.
Yeah, we're very excited about that. I'm very happy for him. That's going to be happening very soon, either the end of June or, the beginning of June, end of May. So we're very excited for him. And, it couldn't have come at a more perfect time, because now we're working on the album. And so we should have the album finished in that time period. And then like I said, we have a deal that I can't really talk about right now, that hopefully we'll get that music into people's ears and into people's jukeboxes and stereos.
Well, it seems like things are going as well as they can be, and please congratulate him for me. But
I sure will.
But I'm also really excited to be able to share your music with people when the album finally comes out, and we'll put a song on the end of the podcast. Whatever is good for you. But,
I'm going to send it to you right now. Cool. I'm going to send you a folder that has this is the EP that we recorded. Now,
okay,
four of these songs are going to be on there.
Okay, I will also let people know that these have been re-recorded for the album. But thank you so much for taking the time to speak with me today.
Absolutely, man, and thank you for having me. This is when we first started seeing a podcast, start to advertise our music. We were dumbfounded, because we had just started, and you'd said that you'd found us through YouTube, and we were just so excited and thrilled that somebody had found us through organic searching and liked what we were doing. And so we want to thank you, because that was a great kind of boost to not necessarily our egos, but a boost to our confidence in what we're trying to do, that somebody liked what we're trying to put out there, and that's very encouraging. So I want to thank you for doing that, and that's of course why we sent you a shirt and everything.
Of course. Well, and hopefully these shirts are still, if you're a fan of the music, which I can definitely say you will be, if you watch it on YouTube or get the album, definitely pick up one of these shirts.
So merch, we have new designs. Okay. Kind of what we do is we order new designs every time, and it's kind of a limited run. So if you don't catch the shirt, we are going to be producing new ones. And kind of what we do, and the shirt that you have is actually kind of a special edition one, because
nice.
If we can't sell through, let's say, the last little bit of shirts, we tie dye them. Gotcha. And my girlfriend and my sister do a great job they work really hard to kind of create these cool designs. They put like faces in some of the dye. I don't know how they do it, but it's really cool. So look out for the tie-dye shirts if you're at our shows. Those are usually custom made by either my sister or my girlfriend.
Cool. Yeah. So pick up some merch. Be on the lookout for the album when it drops, and definitely check out Auralayer. They're a phenomenal band, up and coming band with a stoner pop sound. I guess I like that, so I'll use that. But thank you so much again, and have a good one.
Thank you, Andrew. You have a good one. All right.
All right. Take care.
Thanks.